The hospital hallways had seen everything: birth, loss, miracles, and despair. But nothing quite like the moment Daniel Harper, a tired janitor with mop water on his shoes, looked straight into the eyes of a billionaire who had given up on life and said, "I'll help you walk." At first, Isabella Crown laughed, not because she found it funny, but because hope had become a foreign language to her, something she no longer believed she deserved. Daniel wasn't supposed to be in her room that night. It was past midnight, his shift nearly over, and his back ached from carrying both the weight of his job and the responsibility of raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, alone. But the soft sound of someone crying behind a half-open hospital door made him pause. Inside, Isabella, once known as the Iron Lady of Crown Enterprises, lay in her wheelchair, her shoulders shaking as she stared at her reflection in the dark window. She had been paralyzed from the waist down in a private jet accident 6 months earlier. The world still saw her as untouchable, powerful, untamed. But tonight, she was just a woman whose life had been stolen in one violent moment. Daniel's voice cut through the silence. "You're not alone." Startled, she snapped her head toward him. "I don't know you." "I know," Daniel said, "but I know the look of someone who's drowning." She laughed, a cold, bitter sound. "You can't help me, no one can." Daniel stepped forward, eyes steady. "I'll help you walk." That was when she laughed harder. Then suddenly, painfully, she began to cry. The first wall. Isabella told him to leave. She was used to pushing people away, but Daniel didn't move. "My wife died from cancer 4 years ago," he said softly. "Doctors gave up on her long before she gave up on herself. I'll never forgive myself for not trying harder." His voice cracked. "That's why I won't walk away from someone who hasn't truly lost yet." Something in her chest tightened. She hated it. She was trained to trust numbers, not people, machines, not hope. But Daniel, he didn't want anything from her. He didn't need her. He didn't fear her. He simply believed in her for her without reason. So she whispered, "Fine, one chance." The challenge begins. Daniel wasn't a doctor. He wasn't a therapist. He was a janitor who had learned more about life from pain than any book could teach. They met every night after his shift. He massaged her stiff legs the way physical therapists did. He encouraged her through the smallest movements. He talked to her, not as a billionaire, but as a wounded human who deserved healing. Isabella resisted him at first. She hated weakness. She hated needing help. She hated being seen like this. But Daniel was patient. He taught her to breathe through frustration, to push through discomfort, to focus on each tiny victory. Every inch of progress made her emotional. Every failure made her furious. One night she screamed, "You don't know what it's like to lose everything." Daniel's jaw tightened. "I lost my wife. My daughter almost lost me too. Don't tell me I don't know." The room fell silent. For the first time, Isabella saw him, not as a janitor, but as a man fighting his own war. The worst setback. After weeks of slow progress, Isabella suddenly stopped improving. Her legs refused to respond. The pain worsened. Her doctor warned her not to expect much more. Isabella spiraled. She shut down, refused therapy, refused Daniel. She believed she was a burden, a failure, a broken version of her past self. When Daniel came to see her, she said coldly, "Don't waste your time, I'm done." Daniel didn't argue. He simply placed a photo on her lap of Lily, smiling in her school uniform. "My daughter thinks you're the strongest woman alive," he said quietly. "Don't prove her wrong." The picture trembled in Isabella's hands. Something inside her awakened again. The breakthrough. The turning point came 2 weeks later. Daniel stood in front of her, hands outstretched. "Lean on me." Isabella hesitated, but then placed her trembling hands in his. He lifted her gently, supporting nearly all her weight. Her legs wobbled violently. Pain shot through her spine. Sweat dotted her forehead. "Look at me," Daniel urged. "Just try." She took one breath. Then another. Then her foot moved, just an inch, but it moved. "Again," Daniel whispered. Isabella gritted her teeth. A tear fell. She pushed. Her right foot slid forward. She gasped, then broke down in wild, shaking sobs. I did it," she whispered. "You did," Daniel said, voice thick with emotion. "You're walking again." Not perfectly, not independently. But she had taken one step, something her doctors said might never happen again. The final challenge. With renewed determination, Isabella trained harder every night. She regained strength, balance, confidence, and something she had never expected, gratitude. She started asking Daniel about his life. He told her everything. How he worked 3 jobs to support Lily, how he struggled, how he feared failing her. Isabella began using her wealth differently. Quietly, secretly. She paid for Lily's school fees. She arranged better working hours for Daniel. She didn't tell him, it was her way of giving back. But Daniel found out. "You don't owe me anything," he said. "I'm not paying you back," she answered softly. "I'm thanking you for reminding me I'm human." The triumph. Months later, at a small rehabilitation center, surrounded by nurses and Daniel holding his daughter in his arms, Isabella stood on her own 2 feet. No wheelchair. No assistance. Just her. She took slow, shaky steps toward Daniel. Every person in the room fell silent. When she reached him, she whispered, voice breaking, "You saved me." Daniel shook his head. "You saved yourself. I just believed in you." But Isabella stepped forward and hugged him. A woman who once built walls around her heart, now allowing herself to feel. For the first time since her accident, she didn't feel broken. She felt alive.